Ladies and gentlemen, William Shatner.
Don't stand. It's embarrassing. There's 5 people in the balcony. We're not sold out. I can't understand. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you again. Were you all here last year? Or, who wasn't here last year? Oh, geez, that's everybody. A whole new audience. I'm going to tell the same stories I told last year. Nah, I got to do stuff this year. So a guy calls me on the phone, and he says, I've got this show called Stars on Mars. So how would you like to do it? Oh, Stars on Mars. What do you want from me? Well, you'll be like the host, and you'll stay here in Los Angeles, and we'll film you here, you know, and we'll write the stuff, and there'll be no end, be in the stars on Mars, and we have all these people. Oh, that sounds great, I'll do that. So I go down to a studio, and they've got my dialogue all written out, and I say some of their dialogue, and I say some of my dialogue, and it's amusing. And there's, oh, good, great, that's great, thank you so much. And in 3 weeks, we'll fly to Australia. Well, I thought I was gonna, no, you have to interact with the people in Australia. But Australia's 14 hours away. Yes, it's 14 hours away. And we land in Sydney, and then we go on to, there's 6 cities, I can only remember 2. And we got 3 hours on another airplane, and then we take a charter airplane for another 3 hours into the outback of Australia. There are harsh deserts in the world. There's the Sahara, it's pretty bad. There's the one in South America, the Acataba. It's in Chile. AC what? ACAT. You don't know what I'm talking about. Acataba, I think it's called. Very driest desert. Taken from the outback in Australia is worse than anything. The outback. Australia burned down a year ago, I think it was. Terrible fires. They've not recovered. I mean, the outback in Australia was once a sea, a shallow sea, and then it evaporated and left all the minerals there. And in a town called Coober, Pedy, they found opals. So 1,500 people went to Coober Pedy, and I had heard about Coober Pedy. Okay. A long time ago, in a planet, whatever the planet was, I was asked by Australia to visit them and present some awards. And if I did that, do 2 things you've always wanted to do. So back then I was current as a flyer, as a pilot, and back then I got pretty handy with a bow and arrow. I used to compete, and then I do a little hunting, where are we? We're in upstate New York, so deer. So they'll have a season for bow hunters, and because if they don't, there are no natural predators. Thanks, and I need all the help I can get. If you don't help the predators, the deer eat themselves out of food and starve to death. So there's a bow hunting season where the bow hunters go out, and you got to get from here to the end of the theater to get a decent shot, 40 yards or so, and you try and one arrow to the heart, and the animal dies instantly, and then you eat the animal. So it's like, it's terrible, because I don't do that anymore, taking a life. But at the time, it seemed like the reasonable thing to do. So I said, well, I'm a bow hunter, and I'd like to, they said, well, we've got a pest here. The small kangaroo. Wallaby. So we got a pest here like your rabbits, where they eat everything, they multiply, and we got to get rid of the wallaby. So we'll go wallaby hunting. So we go wallaby hunting on the island of Tasmania, exotic, way down south. And so we go, we trudge along, we come to a large bank of trees. There's trees up there. All right, says my guide, let's sit down here and lie back, and we'll wait for sunset, and the wallaby will come out. Okay, we're sitting down there, and the sun's going down, and then I hear it's wallaby. They're coming out of the forest. Where the wallaby? Oh, they're coming. The sun's going down. I know. And they stop coming. And the sun sets. And I never see a wallaby. So we go back to the campground. What do they call the campground? No, what do they call the drink of water? What is it? Ball, St. Matilda, the Billabong. We go back to the Billabong. It's Bill's Bong. You should see my bong. Big bong. And we eat some, I don't know, smoked meat sandwiches, pastrami sandwiches, whatever it goes. And no wallaby, no hunting. So a few days later, they say, we found you a pilot with an airplane, you can fly this airplane. So I meet him, hello George, where was that? And I said, well, where are you from? He said, well, I picked up my airplane in Los Angeles, North American Rockwell airplane, twin engine airplane. You know, Bill, I flew it by myself from Los Angeles to New York, from New York to London, London to France, down to Italy, across Italy, the Mediterranean, across the Mediterranean, down to Africa, across Africa, across the islands, and finally I flew it to Australia, and I did it by myself. I navigated by myself. I knew exactly where I was every moment. It was great. I had a great time. Whoa, you're a good pilot. Yes, I am. I'm a professional. I've never been lost. Whoa, that's wonderful. So we get to the airplane, takes off, and I'm like behind him with the controls. And I'm way in the distance. I see thunderheads. Now, I've flown sailplanes, gliders, and so you get towed in a sailplane, you get towed to a certain altitude, you release from the airplane that's towing you, and you seek out strange new world. No, that's not. And you seek out thermals. And what's a thermal? The sun heats the earth in different patterns. You got a green field over here and a road over here. That's hot air. The hot air rises, and you can see birds circling, gaining altitude from a thermal. So that's how you spy. Look for clouds, look for birds. So I see a cloud, I see a bird, and I had a great time in sail planing. So I knew about the thunderheads, because that's got updrafts and downdrafts. What fun in this great airplane. Let's go. So we fly and we fly, and we get into the middle of the thunderhead, and we're up and we're down, we're straight and we're down, and we finally fly out of the thunderhead. And he says, Bill, I have flown 10,000 miles from Los Angeles to Sydney. I knew where I was every moment of the time. I have no idea where we are today. I got them lost. So we circled around and we finally landed. Now we're in the outback. We land at a place called Coober, Pedy. And there it's like 120 degrees, I would say, in the shade. But there's no shade. It's all flat desert. And they live inside the hills that are around them. They dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. And they're digging for opals, by the way. It's the center of the opal mining operation in Australia, Coober, Pedy. But it's so hot, they live underground. And that was many, many years ago. Where do you think I ended up to shoot this Stars on Mars film? Coober, Pedy. I'm in Coober, Pedy, and they've gone from just digging into a hillside to putting up a framework that looks like the opening to a house, but it's still a tunnel into the ground where you live to escape the 120 degree heat. And there, I mixed it up with the cast, and I was outside for as brief a time as possible. It wasn't the heat so much. When we flew in to Coober, Pedy, I thought people were waving. They're waving. Oh, how friendly, they know I'm coming. That wasn't it at all. They're waving the flies away. Flies. And I step outside to shoot the very we're ready, and the flies attack me. There's something about the way I smell, okay? That flies are attracted. They jag into your eyes because there's no moisture. Now your tears are what we want. So oh, your nose is moisture there. And you're going to say, hell, flies are. There's a fly up my ass. I spent 10 days in Coober, Pedy. I never, except for the opals. They've got great opals there, folks. You should go to Coober, Pedy and get it. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. That, and so it's apparently doing very well. Stars on Mars on Fox, and the show I do is The Unexplained, which has become a big hit. And yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And then, let's see, then I did an album called Bill. And thank you. The group, two guys, Robert Chernow and Dan Miller of the group They Might Be Giants. That's apparently a very big group. So Dan and Rob and I wrote the songs and lyrics to Bill. We had such a great time doing it during COVID. We wrote 20 more songs. And Cleopatra, the label, is going to release the songs as a children's album. I am imbued, and I've got a cause, which is the interconnection of nature. Everything is so intertwined, nature. And the songs are for children about how, in the strangest ways, animals interact. Example. On the savannah in Africa, it's treeless, it's grass. And elephants, at times, roam the savannah, eating the grass. Also, on the savannah, there are termites who build mounds. These termites get a certain type of mud, and they chew it, and they make these mounds that are quite round and could be as high as 6 feet high. And it's air conditioned because they have holes all over their mouths, and the termites use their wings and fan the mounds, and their young live, and then there's millions and millions of termites, and millions and thousands of these towers on the grasslands of Africa, on the savannah. Along comes an elephant herd. And the elephant says, "Oh yeah, I got an itchy behind. Itchy. There's a mound there." Goes up to a mound. Wow, that's so good. And destroys the mound. The mound is now a puddle of mud. Okay? And the elephants are stamping around it. And one day it rains. And there's a little puddle of mud. "Oh," says the elephant, "I got some mud. I'll put it over me," and digs a little bigger hole. And then it digs a bigger hole, and it's a bigger hole. And over a period of time, some years, it becomes a giant hole that's filled with rainwater, becomes a watering hole for all the animals. Birds fly by, accidentally carrying fish eggs. There's fish in the watering hole. There's alligators. All the animals from around water there, breed. It becomes a place of life. All from an itchy behind. So we've written a song about it. So I got an album called Bill out there, which got incredible reviews. I've got a documentary. I don't know how it happened, but the title is You Can Call Me Bill. And then I was asked to perform at the Kennedy Center, and we did a whole concert of songs we wrote. The biggest song was entitled So Fragile, So Blue, about our planet and our destruction of the planet. And it will be a music video. My fantasy, it becomes like We Are the World, so I'll get personalities intertwined in So Fragile, So Blue is the sentence, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do about the destruction of the world? And I'll get personalities to say that. And maybe it'll help to do something about our destroying the planet. So there's a documentary, You Can Call Me Bill. There's a documentary of my performance at Kennedy Center. There's a music video. There's this children's album. There's all kinds of things that I'm trying to sell that are really good. And that's it. Goodbye. So now, let's talk about Star Trek.